Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage SHI Vice President of Marketing, Matt Fisher.
Wow. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2025 SHI and Stratascale Cybersecurity and AI Summit. Try saying that after a few pints later at the bar. It is fantastic to see so many of you here in the room. I hope everybody has actually managed to find a seat. Actually, standing room only at the back. I apologize. We'll get more seats. But it's also great not only to welcome you in the room, but you guys out there in virtual internet world. We're actually doing our first ever LinkedIn live event, and we have more than 100 people tuned in via LinkedIn as well. So fantastic. And we're really happy to see you here at our Executive Briefing Center in New Jersey. Now look, we all know that as cybersecurity leaders, professionals, stakeholders, your job has never been more difficult or complex. And that's why our goal over the next 2 days is to empower you with actionable insights into new technologies, fresh perspectives on cyber strategies, and hopefully, frankly, some good old-fashioned cybersecurity common sense. Now, I confess that although I love standing up here, I don't really like doing all the hard work, and I insist on audience participation. So be warned that audience participation is headed your way. And if you want to get ahead of the game, grab your mobile phone right now, and we're going to be using an app called Slido that I'm sure many of you have used before. It's an interactive mobile app. And yes, I know this is a cybersecurity conference. You all think I'm going to test you and it's actually a phishing scam. Promise you, it's not. It's legit. I also like to do some things the old-fashioned way. So we're actually going to start with a really simple show of hands. So I can't actually see you that well, so I may have to crouch down. But if you wouldn't mind indulging me, please raise your hand if this is your first time at an SHI summit. Definitely over half. Thank you. Okay, let me go the other way just really quickly then. If this is your second time, or second or more times, raise your hands. Keep them up if it's your third time. Keep it up if it's your fourth time. Wow, good job, nice one. Thank you, everybody. It's great to see that we have so many people here, not only for the first time, but coming back. Hopefully that's a great demonstration that those of you that are here for the first time are gonna go away wanting to come back for more. All right, so look, let's get started on our first official poll of the day. You're going to get these at various points during different sessions as we go forward. The first question I'd love you to answer is simply to help us understand why you are here. What do we need to deliver to you for you to consider this event success? Some of you are ahead of me on this one already. This is typical. You have 5 options, and you can choose up to 3 of those options. I don't feel like I actually even need to read them out because you clearly got there ahead of me on this one. But we'll give you a few seconds to fill it out, and then let's have a look at what our top answers are. Okay, well, I think it's fair to say that the one that's going to be in the lead when we finally close the poll is exploring new technologies. And one of the things that two things we have for you. One is the cyber vendor showcase that I'll tell you about a little bit later on today. So tomorrow lunchtime, you'll have the opportunity to meet with 50 different cyber technology vendors and really get up to speed on their latest offerings. But we also have another session that's actually happening, I think, later today. No, early tomorrow, I beg your pardon. And it's the future of identity with Rob Forbes, one of our SMEs on cybersecurity. That's a session that you'll find in the agenda, and that's one that will be actually here, I think, on the main stage tomorrow. What was the second one? So learn how to solve specific cybersecurity challenges. Well, one of those specific challenges that we will be talking a lot about at this event is the sort of the widening skills gap and the lack of security professionals. So we actually have a session coming up in a little while with cyber leaders from Bausch & Lomb, Ochsner Health, and also Rutgers University, talking about what they're doing to solve that particular challenge. So if that's one that you also experience, that's a great session to be here for, which you will be here for because it follows me pretty soon. So look, the theme of this event is resilient by design, and we chose that theme because we strongly believe that resiliency does not happen by accident. It has to be a conscious and considered decision informed by a firm understanding of the threats. the available solutions, and the best ways to strike that balance between helping your organization innovate and grow and locking it down so that you avoid unacceptable levels of risk. And that's why our SHI, our Stratascale cyber experts, our valued partners, and indeed cyber leaders from our customers have come together to offer you more than 30 sessions over these 2 days. Together, we're all going to be exploring how building resiliency is not just about reacting to threats, but building your cybersecurity from the ground up to anticipate, withstand, and evolve with them. Well, speaking of evolution, boy, is the cybersecurity industry evolving right now. In fact, the IMF predicts that cybercrime will cost $23 trillion by 2027. That's just 2 years away. AI-driven cyber attacks have increased by 67% in Q1 of 2025 alone. Now, as the number of cyber criminal groups grows, earlier this month, Microsoft and CrowdStrike joined forces to create what they call a unified threat actor taxonomy. They want to solve the inconsistency in how different cybersecurity vendors are labeling and referring to threat actors, because they believe that that sort of misalignment creates delays in creating effective responses to the threats and vulnerabilities. It kind of makes a ton of sense, although the way they've gone about it kind of gets the adolescent in me a little bit excited. No, that's the wrong word. Certainly brings out the humor for me, because they've kind of gone with a taxonomy where we've ended up with threat actors like Purple Typhoon. Sounds like a K-pop boy band to me. Or if we go over to the other side of maybe Europe, we could join the Moscow grunge scene with Neva Flood. Or back across the pond into the UK, perhaps it's on the indie scene and it's Pinstripe Lightning. They're all real names, by the way. This is what they are labeling these threat actors. And I know, of course, like I say, I've got an adolescent sense of humor, but they, the threat actors themselves, are indeed no laughing matter, especially given the reported rise in cybercrime as a service. The World Economic Forum warned earlier this year that organizations are now making serious cash selling hacking tools, ransomware kits, and even delivering phishing services to basically anyone that's willing to pay. This means that even individuals with little or no technical expertise can now launch sophisticated cyber attacks against businesses and institutions just like yours. AI is supercharging this trend and making it easier for both experienced and first-time cybercriminals to automate attacks, to evade detection, and to craft really sophisticated and convincing phishing scams. In fact, ransomware incidents in Q1 of 2025 have increased by 126%, and ransomware demands are now up an average of 47%. I think it's fair to say that we can expect those numbers to increase only further still as we see further adoption of AI by those cybercriminal organizations. I'm painting a very bad picture of AI here, and of course we need to recognize that, of course, there are plenty of reasons and ways to adopt AI for good in our organizations. Hopefully many of you got to tour our brand new AI and Cyber Labs facility a couple of miles away earlier today and got to see the modules and the use cases that we're able to help your organizations actually create, to innovate, and grow. But in terms of AI adoption, Forbes reports that 78% of private sector organizations are now using AI. Capgemini reports that 64% of US public sector organizations are now using AI. The fact that I think might bring a tear to your eye is that Microsoft and LinkedIn say that 78% of users in organizations that are using AI are doing so by bringing their own AI tools to work. A kind of BYO AI, if you like. Now, your cybersecurity professionals, you understand better than anyone the risks associated with your own organization's use of AI. One of the most pressing challenges, and I referred to this just a couple of minutes ago, is that skills shortage. Some 4 million missing cybersecurity professionals globally. As cyber threats grow more sophisticated, the need for highly trained staff has never been greater. So we're facing questions like, how do we bridge the gap? How do we attract, train, retain the talent that we need to secure our digital future? And how do we, as cybersecurity professionals, harness the power of AI to help defend against what are themselves increasingly AI-generated or AI-enhanced threats? Of course, SHI, Stratascale, and our partners have a ton of views to share, and you're going to experience a lot of that over the next 2 days. But as I referred to earlier, we also have some cyber leaders from SHI customers that are joining us, and really excited to hear their views on that subject as well. It's also important to understand that critical to resiliency is having the right technologies in place, configured, deployed, and managed effectively. Tomorrow, that partner showcase I mentioned will give you the opportunity to network and to connect with more than 50 cyber vendors that are trusted by the SHI and Stratascale organization, as well as 5 services from the SHI organization, including our cybersecurity services division, Stratascale, our IT asset management team, our Microsoft software advisory group, and our next-gen device lab. There's one more booth I'm very quickly going to call out, which is our customer advocacy booth. You're probably aware of Cialdini's principle of social proof, which is that people are more likely to buy from an organization if they see other people having a great experience with that organization. TikTok, Instagrammers, they make millions out of doing this. None of you are likely to make millions out of recommending SHI. But if you wouldn't mind going to the customer advocacy booth, what I will bribe you with is some fantastic swag that you won't get anywhere else. We'll love you for doing it. Your kids might love you for it as well. I also want to do a very, very quick shout out to our Research Roundup, which is a bi-weekly LinkedIn newsletter where we look at all the latest research in the market and we tell you what we think you need to read, what you need to take in and take a look at. We've looked at the World Economic Forum Cybersecurity Outlook. We've looked at Verizon's 2025 Data Breach Investigations report in the last edition alone. You can get that bi-weekly on LinkedIn, scan that, and you can subscribe. If you haven't scanned it, it will be in the show notes later that you can do it from there as well. We have an app. If you haven't downloaded it, please make sure you do. On the rear of your badge is a QR code. It's another security test, but actually it will take you to the event app, and that will help you select the different sessions that you might want to attend. If you need help at any time, look for somebody with a lime green lanyard, but it says event staff. Don't ask anyone else with a lime green lanyard. They won't have a clue what's going on. Finally, the lime green lanyards with the event staff are the people that you will want to follow if we do need to evacuate the building, but I am 99.9% sure we will not need to do that. So I'm running over. They're telling me to get off the stage, which I need to do. So I am just going to remind you of our calls to action. Get ready for the future of cybersecurity, to experience real-world cyber use cases, to have the opportunity to network with peers, to take away proven toolkits that you can use tomorrow or at least next week, and to get the latest advice on cyber technology and deployments. Thank you again for being with us. Welcome again to the 2025 Cyber and AI Summit. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you again tomorrow.